Once upon a time, in the heart of a gentle, whispering woodland, lived Benny the bunny. Benny was a sleek, snowy white rabbit whose pristine fur glimmered like fresh morning frost. His coat was short and velvety, and his long ears stood tall, except for the one with a charming little bend at the tip. Benny's emerald green eyes sparkled with endless curiosity, and he always wore his snug sky blue vest, buttoned just right with secret pockets hidden inside. Around his neck he knotted a soft crimson scarf, its ends fluttering like a pair of tiny red flags as he hopped through the wildflowers. One golden afternoon, as sunlight danced through the leafy canopy and the air hummed with the songs of happy birds, Benny felt a tingle of adventure ripple through his paws. The meadow was alive with scents of sweet clover and dewy grass. Benny's pink paw pads tickled as he bounded through tufts of wildflowers, his fluffy white tail bobbing behind him. "Today feels like a day for discoveries," Benny declared to himself, his voice quiet but brimming with excitement. As he hopped along his favorite forest trail, a winding path carpeted with soft moss and dotted with bluebells, he kept his emerald eyes peeled for anything curious or new. Up ahead, he spotted his best friend, Millie the mouse, tugging at a raspberry bush. Millie's gray fur shone silver in the sunlight, and her round ears wiggled as she tried to reach a plump berry high above her head. "Hello, Millie," Benny called, adjusting his scarf. "Need a paw?" "Oh, Benny, I'm too little for the juiciest ones," giggled Millie, pointing up at a sparkling red berry right at the top. Benny hopped closer, wiggled his strong hind legs, and leapt up, neatly plucking the berry before landing gently beside Millie. Millie clapped her tiny paws. "You're the best, Benny. Would you like to share some?" Benny smiled brightly. "Only if we find something special together today." "Deal," said Millie, grinning. Together they munched happily until a glimmer of light flickered through the ferns. "What was that?" whispered Millie, her whiskers twitching. "I don't know, but it looks marvelous." Benny's green eyes widened with curiosity. The two friends tiptoed through the undergrowth, following the mysterious sparkle. The forest air was thick with the scent of pine needles and wild honeysuckle. Soon they reached a small, sunlit clearing. In the very center, between a ring of silvery mushrooms, something twinkled like a fallen star. Benny's heart leapt. "Let's have a closer look." He approached carefully, with Millie peeking from behind his vest. There, nestled among moss and fairy grass, lay a slender wand. It was as long as Benny's paw, made from shimmering wood and spiraled with silvery threads. At the tip shone a tiny crystal orb that pulsed with dazzling rainbow light. "It's beautiful," breathed Millie. Benny gently picked it up, the cool wand humming softly in his paw. Suddenly, the forest around them shivered with gentle magic. A breeze whirled bridal petals, and the colors of every flower deepened. Even the shadows seemed to dance. Benny's ears wiggled thoughtfully, the tip of his bent ear swooping sideways. "I wonder what it does." He turned to Millie. "Should we try it?" Millie's eyes sparkled. "Yes, let's see what happens." Benny thought for a moment, then pointed the wand at a nearby buttercup. "Abracadabra, bloom," he said softly. At once, the buttercup shivered, then burst open, growing 3 times its normal size and sparkling with golden dew. A sleepy ladybug inside blinked in surprise, then giggled and stretched her wings. "Did you do that?" gasped Millie. "I suppose I might have," replied Benny, his voice tinged with awe. He waved the wand again, this time at a cluster of dandelions. "Make it magical." A dandelions transformed into fluffy, floating orbs that drifted up and spun like tiny hot air balloons, carrying laughing caterpillars into the blue sky. Millie cheered. "This wand fills the forest with wonder." Benny's heart fluttered with happiness. He tucked the wand gently into a special inner pocket of his vest, where it rested close to his heart. "Let's spend the day bringing magic to everyone." And so the two friends set off on their magical adventure. First, they visited Ollie the owl, who was dozing in the old oak tree. "Good afternoon, Ollie," Benny called. "Would you like a magical surprise?" Ollie blinked his round yellow eyes sleepily. "Hoo-hoo, what sort of surprise?" Benny twirled the wand and whispered, "Hoo-hoo, let's make your dreams come true." Suddenly, a gentle mist swirled around the tree, and golden dreamcatcher leaves sprinkled down. Ollie's dreams of flying through starry skies appeared like shimmering pictures in the air. Delighted, Ollie chuckled and bowed his head in thanks. "What a marvelous gift, Benny and Millie!" Next, they visited Tilly the tortoise, who was trying rather slowly to reach a pond for her afternoon swim. "Can we help?" Millie asked, her nose twitching with excitement. "Oh, if only I were faster," sighed Tilly, her shell shining in the sunlight. Benny waved the wand above Tilly's head. "Faster than the wind," he chimed. Instantly, soft wheels appeared beneath Tilly's feet. With a surprised giggle, Tilly whirled gently to the pond, water splashing up around her as she glided in. The whole woods echoed with laughter, for more and more curious friends began to gather. Squirrels, robins, frogs, and even shy hedgehogs peered between the brambles, eager to see what wonders the day might bring. "Who's next?" Benny grinned, the ends of his scarf fluttering with joy. Then, as the sun began to set and the forest glowed with a golden light, Benny noticed a tiny fawn hiding behind a bush. She looked a bit sad, her big brown eyes peering nervously. Benny knelt beside her. "Hello, little one. What's your name?" "I'm Fira," she whispered shyly. "I've lost my way and can't find my mama." Benny gave Fira his warmest smile. With a gentle touch, he untied his crimson scarf and draped it around her neck. "Don't worry, Fira. We'll help you." He took out the sparkling wand and held it high. "Shining light, guide us right," he called. The orb atop the wand shimmered even brighter than before, sending out beams of soft, silvery light. The rays danced across the forest floor, tracing a warm, glowing path through the trees. Fira's eyes widened as she followed the trail with Benny and Millie at her side. They weaved between tall ferns and skinny birches until at last they spotted a graceful doe searching the edge of the glen. "Mama!" Fira cried, bounding into her mother's gentle embrace. "Thank you, Benny and Millie," said the doe, nuzzling her daughter. "You are the kindest friends in the forest." Benny's heart felt as light as dandelion fluff. "I'm so glad we could help." As dusk settled in, the magical wand sparkled softly, as if whispering a gentle goodbye. Benny looked at Millie and the crowd of happy animals. Every day is filled with a little magic when we're kind and help each other. One by one, the forest friends returned to their cozy homes. Ollie to his oak tree, Tilly to her pond, Millie to her berry bush, and Fira to her nest of moss and leaves. Benny stood in the clearing, the wand nestled in his vest pocket. He looked up as the stars blinked awake above the treetops. His fur glowed pale silver in the moonlight, and the bend in his ear swayed in the cool night breeze. He knew that tomorrow and every day after he could use the wand to share kindness and wonder with all the woodland creatures. But he also knew that the real magic was in making friends and helping others, the most enchanting power of all. With a soft sigh of contentment, Benny tied his crimson scarf tight, twitched his little nose, and bounced back to his own snuggly burrow beneath the thicket. And so each day, when sunlight spilled through the forest and the air shimmered with possibility, Benny the bunny, with his emerald eyes, brilliant vest, and sparkling wand, brought laughter, friendship, and a sprinkle of magic to every corner of the woods. The end.